The background should be really dark. I make a really dark background. So this is a big one charcoal. So I didn't use a compressed charcoal yet. This is the big one charcoal. The background should be top, really dark, go underneath here, a little bit lighter. Just like a sky. So if you go outside, you see the sky, the top is really, really blue. And go underneath a little bit lighter and close to the bottoms, like a little bit light yellow too. But why we're doing like this? Because you can give a lot of haze perspective. Showing more depth. So always draw background first. Yeah, the student really like object. They like details. I like details too, but I do later.
Why background first?
Because if you put a background first, did you see those objects popped out? Yeah, that's easy. So doing the oil painting is the same thing. So you do background first. It's not only the big shadows, but also, so we call local colors. Local colors. So if your background is like a red, everything should be gave a little bit red reflection. Okay, so that's why we do background first. So if I do background first, you can see those objects popped out. Okay. Then I use a paper towel, smudge it. 到后面去找一点。哎，then I use a paper towel to smudge it. The special underneath here, I smudge. I don't want to see any textures on the background and the shadow parts, because those textures catch your eye. If you make it smooth, you push back more. And how about this board? So we have a white model stand. Also we have a little bit light brown board. The brown board is a little bit darker than model stand. So we had to give a little bit of light gray. Like this. So we have to give a little bit light gray. So when you do the drawings, never put the paper direct on the drawing board, because the drawing board has a texture. And also it's too hard. It's really difficult to put more charcoals on the paper. So if you have more paper behind it, so when you do it, so it's easy to get on. And also you can feel the pressure. Just like oil painting, the canvas and the canvas board is different. The canvas, you can feel it. So you have a little bit of pressure. If you have a pressure on it, you can feel the value gradation change. It's pretty easy. The paper is the same thing, so you just give a little bit more paper underneath. That's good. I put a cast shadow. So this is the big one charcoal. It's easy to do the shading. So if you only have a small one charcoal, it's not that fast. It's really, really small. Okay, the break. Here we have a little bit of cast shadow on the break. Here should be a little bit darker too. Okay, that's the first one. Then I use a compressed charcoal for the background. The top, the background should be darker. So I use a compressed charcoal to mix with one charcoal. Top is super dark. Okay, now I use a paper towel to smudge. I didn't put any compressed charcoal underneath because underneath I want lighter. I only put on the top. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to draw the darkest value first. So which one is the darkest? One bottle. Okay, I forgot one thing. The one bottle, so we have labels on it. So when you draw labels, you're doing the same thing, ellipse. This is the yellow labels. So ellipse you put on. Also we have a black label. The black one. So just make a yellow one a little bit higher, a little bit low. Just make it higher a little bit. That's my yellow label. That's my black label. Okay, now I'm going to use a big one charcoal to shading all the one the one bottle. The big one charcoal to shading everything. Just like a silhouette. So everybody know what is a silhouette mean, right? So no details, just like an outside shape. The whole thing is going to be dark. Okay, make everything darker like this. And also underneath the yellow label, it should be darker too. So this is a black label. So I make this one darker first. Then I use an eraser to lift out the logo. And this part should be darker too. So I make it here darker, so this cup, green cup, can cup popped out. So this is a ellipse. So this is a green cup. So I make everything in gray. So I make this a shadow, darker a little bit. Okay, so I finish like this. But you can see the label, okay, yellow label, they have a lighting parts and the shadow parts. This is the shadow parts, foam shadow. So this part should be a little bit darker and here it should be lighter. The first layer I finished. Then I use my paper towel, smudge a little bit. So you can see the top, this part's glass, okay, the wine bottle, little bit lighter than underneath here. So I use my paper towel to burnishing, to showing the lighting parts of black, dark green. Okay, how about this part, these edges? The lighting is on the wine bottle, so this part should be lighter too. Okay, then you go to this way, to burnishing, less pressure, less pressure. So they give you value gradation change. Okay, then I use compressed charcoal to make the dark parts even darker. So this part should be darker. So super dark green, I use a compressed charcoal. Also, you can see it on here, little bit darker, and also on here, little bit darker. The value is not the same because there are a lot of reflections. The glass and the metal stuff, they catch a lot reflections. So you had to make those materials like a reflections looking. A lot of things on those shining stuff. Here should be a little bit darker too. I make here darker. And underneath here, darker. Next to the yellow label. Okay, here it should be darker. And the bottom here, because the shadows on it, this part should be super dark. Then I use a paper towel. Too much textures. It's not smooth. I can use a paper towel to smudge it. Also, you can use a paper blender for the details parts to smudge it. I can put a many black compressed charcoal here. That's a lot, right? You can use this one to borrow some black, put on here. Borrow some black and put on here. This is a good stuff too. So depends on the pressure. You want the transitions, you push less. See, here should be foam shadow. You need soft edges. This is good stuff. You can control it. Okay, and this part should be darker too. So everything I put on the board, okay, is useful. I use a lot of those stuff. I have an experience. I know which parts is a really good tool to use it. What is a tool means? The hands extension. Your hands cannot do it, use a tool, right? So you had to find the best tool to work on it. The special, I think, in the United States, the constructors, they always have a best tool. They can do really fast, good job, right? Same thing here. So when you do the good drawings, you need a nice tool. You cannot just like have one charcoal doing everything. No way. Okay, make here darker. And here should be a little bit transitions. So I just use this one to finish all the details. So this is the darkest one, so I had to finish this one first. Just like oil paintings. So you start from the dark one, go to lighter one. Okay, and some small area, so I can use one charcoal. Here have a little bit details, but I don't need it that dark. For example, here I can use one charcoal. And here a little bit, it just add a little bit dark colors. Okay, any questions? I talk too much. So if you have questions, you can ask me. Okay, here. Now I use chamois to lift out. I can see a lot of reflections on the bottom. Yeah, for example, here. Beautiful reflections, you can use a chamois to lift out. So that's why we need a chamois. And now here we need a chamois too. Little bit reflections. Around with highlights, so you have to use a chamois first to lift out. Because the chamois, they cannot make it really bright, but they give you transitions very well. And also you can see the highlights is like a star. You can go like this. So use a chamois, then you use an eraser to pop out a really bright spot. Here's a really bright spot. Okay, so use a chamois first. Okay, then you use eraser later. Highlights always go verticals. For example, here's the highlights, and this part should be a little bit lighter area. And the label for here, this area is the brightest. Then we go to both ways, a little bit darker and darker. So highlights always vertical. Always remember this. So you can make everything look like a three-dimensional. And go this way, less pressure. Then I use my eraser to make it here even brighter. Then burnishing to left, to the right, showing the transition. Okay, and here too, a little bit lighter. And the top here, really small highlights. You can use an eraser too. And also we have a lot of dots from the lighting. They have many reflections. On the one bottom. And the top here, highlights too. And this part, little bit small dots for the highlights. Underneath here, so we have a black label. Also we have a reflection. This is a reflection for the glass. Because we have a wide model stand behind it, it's going to be a little bit transparent. So that's why here should be lighter. Okay. I had to make here a little bit darker this part. Yeah, that's the reflection shapes. This is a black label. I just make it darker. Here darker, then go to light, less pressure, to make it rounded. And the label underneath should be gold leaves. So this kind of still life we use a lot compressed charcoal, different charcoal too. Okay. So we have labels here. We have logos here. So you can use an eraser to lift out to make this logo. Also, we have a different eraser too. Yeah, this is a magic eraser. So you can do nice edges and even lighter. So you can use a knife to cut like a 45-degree angles. You can cut a really sharp edges to lift out. Let me show you how to cut it. See, this is a magic eraser. This one is a magic eraser too. I already cut it. So I can cut one more time. So here's the exact knife. You need it. So you can cut like this. "45-degree angle." So you got a really sharp point. So you can do details, lift up, clean up. Any questions? You guys too quiet. Okay. Okay, so you can put the logos there. Okay, let me show you one more thing. On the label, so we have lighters on, right? It's called yellow tail. So when you do those, label thing, you put the words on it. So first of all, you have to draw is ellipse. So you give a basic guideline ellipse on the top, then you give an ellipse underneath. Okay, then you draw vertical wave first. Yeah, even they have a circle, they have a curves, don't worry about it. You're just looking for vertical first, then you go to horizontal later. Okay, this way is easy to draw. Yeah, for example, I draw Y, yellow, so you go vertical first, yellow, then you go horizontals a little bit, then you go verticals. So everything should be fitting in with the ellipse. So you never draw, label is ellipse, then you draw the letter is horizontal. Okay, it's not right. So everything should be ellipse. And then you draw O, double vertical, then you draw W, 1, 2, 3, 4 verticals. Then you draw T, verticals, then you draw A, 2 verticals. Then you draw I, 1 verticals. Then you draw L, 1 verticals. Then you link together. Okay, so some parts like a yellow, so you can go O, just like horizontal. Okay. Then you can go W, whatever. So just put the words on here, should be okay. So you don't need to draw really clear, but you better showing some things on the label. Otherwise, this one look like unfinished. Okay? But the one thing you have to be careful, those words in the lighting part should be lighter, in the shadow part should be darker. So you have to make sense. Also, in the lighting parts, around the highlights area should be lighter, around transition area should be a little bit darker. So a lot of things you had to thinking. It's not just the jaw. You had to thinking. You're not a machine. Okay, you're the future big masters. Okay, so you had to thinking a lot. See, I can leave it out here too. This is the lighting part of the label. Okay, so I'm going to leave it out. So which one you want me to draw next? Glass?
Glass, yeah.
Glass is difficult, right? So when I finish the glass, you guys can start your drawing. How about that? Okay? The metal thing, I'm continue to work on it. So if you don't know how to draw it, just come over here to take a look. That's fine. So I show you how to draw glass. Glass means transparent. Okay? Otherwise, the glasses you cannot see anything. Right? Should be transparent. Okay. The glass means transparent. Means everything you can see in the background, glass can see it. Right? So you have to make darker.